can't even tell. I guess I am live. Hey guys, am I live? I am live. Look at that. Science. I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm by myself in the studio. I'm playing around with the cameras. It's Sunday. I'm like, I'm bored. The kids, I'm just dinner cooking. I'm like, I'm going to go live to YouTube because I don't give a fudge. Let's see if this actually works. Hey, there I am. All right, let's get some comments and we will talk about stuff and things. Or not. All right, here we go. First of all, how's this sound? Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Hey, what up, Mel? What up, Kathy? Andrew Dunbar, Erica Black, and Shannon are both supporters. Thank you for being SuperPac on YouTube. I released a video for you guys today it was a rant about a recent article where a woman got charged $26,000 for a throat swab. And it is a fucking outrageous story, you guys. Like, she goes into her Manhattan hoity-toity primary doc who she has a sore throat for a week. The woman gives her antibiotics, but then also does a throat swab and sends it for every viral study in the book and bacterial studies and all that, but treats her anyways with antibiotics. So first of all, why even order that shit if you're not going to do anything with it? You're going to treat her with antibiotics anyways for a presumed virus. Next, she got a bill later for almost $26,000, which the insurance paid. And the rant that I did was about how that went down and how you think, oh, what's going on here? It's basically conspiracy and collusion to raise prices and therefore profits. But watch the clip when I release it. If you're not a SuperPac supporter, it's like the cheapest you can get it for is $4.99 a month. Just sign up just to see the video and then cancel. I don't care, just as long as you see it. I'll probably release it sometime this week, though. I shouldn't have said that. I should have said it's never going out except to supporters. Erica's here, Tony, Ashley, Abra, all supporters, Samantha, and Shannon Denise just watched it and commented on it and left a bunch of silly bald-faced emojis that only supporters can have. What up, Cray Cray, Susan Anderson, Marissa Kay's here. The video gave me flashbacks, says Brandolin, who's a supporter. Boy, I hate to think what you are flashing back to if that video gave you flashbacks, because it means you probably got a bill for something ridiculous. Dude, our healthcare system... Listen, I can get angry, I can get mad. We're all mad. We're all angry. The truth is, what's the solution? The solution is you need an efficient market with price transparency where everyone has catastrophic coverage so no one goes bankrupt from medical bills, and where people compete to provide the best services at the lowest cost with the best outcomes. Is that how American healthcare works now? No. You know, and some say, well, healthcare is not a commodity. It's not a free market thing. It's a human right, and so we should provide it as such. That's great. I agree. Everyone should be able to access healthcare. However, if you want the best and the brightest to go into the game, and you want innovation, and you want it to happen in a way that doesn't bankrupt the country, we can do a uniquely American spin on that, which actually can work better than anywhere else in the world. Because contrary to what you've been told, no one's got it completely figured out. Everyone has pluses and minuses, risks and benefits, and trade-offs. Rationing versus, expensive costs that make people bankrupt. I mean, by the way, if you think we don't ration here, you're crazy. We ration, we just call it something else, right? Let's read some comments. 10 grand for an EKG, Brandolin Topes. That's what you got charged? Doesn't surprise me at all. Because it's the chargemaster cost. And if you don't fight it, you don't know how to fight it, you're going to pay that inflated cost. And then the hospitals are going to say that, well, we use these fees to actually cover uncovered charity cases, so thank you. No, that's not what you do. You use the fees to hire lawyers to sue your patients who can't pay those fees. That's what Marty McCary and others have shown is happening in our great institutions around the country. We're suing the patients we're sworn to protect. That is fucked up, you guys. That should piss you off, but there are answers to this. The first answer is don't fucking sue your own patients unless they're assholes, in which case that's a good reason to have lawyers. You best tuber, David Knowles. I like that. I don't know what it means, but I like it. It sounds like you're calling me the best possible potato. You know what I mean? But I like it. Actually, is a potato a tuber, or is that like a turnip? I don't even know. I don't know the phylogenetics of tuberism. Let's see where we're at. Can I ask about a newborn medical question? Douglas Lightsey. Douglas, you can ask, but I don't know the answer because I don't take care of newborns. I'm an adult doctor. Well, I'm a doctor for adults, but I'm really a child. Mel says you can hear me. That's good. Erica says the sound is good. Beautiful sound, striking talent. Good. And the image, I think it looks okay. I'm a little shiny. If I do this, I'm less shiny. Maybe I'll sit back here where I'm less shiny. This fucking head. I need some like powder, but that would make me just a weirdo to go around carrying powder. G Ma says doctors should be sued for ordering excessive tests and excessive referrals. By the way, I'm a doctor. Okay, G Ma, listen to me. You and me agree with this shit. Okay, the people who do this shit, and this is the story in that video, is that the doctor was somehow financially affiliated with the internal lab that was out of network that did this series of viral testing. So you're damn right they're making money. I see it all the time in Las Vegas. There was this Indian doc who would, and I say Indian because I'm Indian, and like I'll tell you, there's like a mafia in Las Vegas of these guys, man. I know because there's a culture with certain groups of people, my people, where we are business people first and doctors second. And we care about humans second to the business of it. And we somehow rationalize that. And you'll see it. And it happens across everything. But I'm just saying it's particularly enriched in Las Vegas. And what happens is you have these doctors who hire, other doctors and PAs and nurse practitioners and basically tell them, you will order from this lab and this radiologist because that's my wife, or I own an interest in that lab, or I own an interest in that scanner. And they are basically scamming the system. Now, none of that would matter in the end if, number one, they weren't financially raping people, because where does this money come from? Oh, the insurance company. No, it's coming from you. It's coming from your wages. It's coming from your business. It's coming from our economy. It's being siphoned into the pockets of these fucking cocksuckers. And this is the thing. A lot of them rationalize that, that people need these tests and I'm providing a service. This is the second problem here. When you do a test, the more you do, the more gets done, because it's this vicious cycle. You order a test, you find an incidental finding that maybe wasn't important at all. Then you chase that down. Next thing you do, you're doing biopsies and procedures, surgical excisions. You have a complication, someone dies. The costs go through the roof. The complications go through the roof. I've seen it again and again and again as a doctor. And if they say this isn't happening, they're lying to you. And listen, G-Ma, you and me as docs know this shit happens. It's fucking criminal. This is what is the foundation of the moral injury that we talk about when we say, hey, we can't even go to work without having to serve all these different masters, the economics, the owner of the business, the whatever multi-specialty clinic, the health plan, insurance companies, the malpractice lawyers, all this shit, right? And that's what makes it so hard. If you could strip that stuff away and just take care of people with the latest evidence using science and humanism and the art of medicine and recognizing the internal experience of patients and consciousness, you could transform healthcare. It's not actually that hard to do. It means a realigning of incentives. Let's take some comments. Thanks, Andrew, for the $5. Should oral maxillofacial surgeons who are also dentists insist on being called double doctor? Double D? That's a silly question that actually has a point here, which is there's a lot of controversy because people who are PhDs, for example, nurse practitioners, doctorates of nursing, of nurse practitioner stuff, can call themselves doctor, and it really gets physicians butthurt because they think it causes confusion, because that is the term doctor, of course, is broad, right? And doctor comes from the Latin docere, which means to teach. However, it can be very confusing because patients may think that's a physician, whether allopathic or osteopathic or naturopathic, and not a nurse practitioner. So it has to just be very clear. I'm Dr. So-and-so, I'm a nurse practitioner or whatever, because of the years of kind of traditional baggage that come with the word doctor. It usually implies a physician. So that's something that gets a lot of people butthurt. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give a fuck. This whole thing about scope of practice, to me, I have strong opinions on this, in that I just don't give a fuck as long as patients get good care. If it turns out a nurse practitioner or a PA is taking care of a patient and they're a dipshit and they don't know what they don't know and there's Dunning-Kruger and they fuck up, there ought to be a mechanism to weed those people out if we were doing our jobs right. If there's a doctor who's practicing at the bottom of their training, or their training was shitty, because we know those docs, or you wouldn't let them touch your dog because, listen, the nurses know who those doctors are, then they should be weeded out too. There ought to be mechanisms in place to actually find this. Instead, we have a culture of silence. We have a culture of fear of reporting this kind of thing because we're afraid that someone's going to report us because we all have imposter syndrome. This shit is fucked up, right? But we can do this, right? And you can actually have a process of weeding out bad actors that is fair and just and non-retributive. You know, things like just culture and that sort of thing, which aren't perfect, but at least it's a start. Well, we talked a little bit about that during this week's shows. By the way, if you haven't signed up for my email list, I would do that. Just go to my website at the bottom. There's a contact form. You can click sign me up for the email list, because every week I send out a summary of everything we've done. So if YouTube's notifications aren't hitting you, then you can at least get the best stuff that way. And you can reply to that email and it comes right to me. So I hear your voice too, right? Stephanie Dyer, who's a supporter. Exactly. The worst is the guys who are so fucking risk averse that they get 1 billion tests and somebody dies. So Stephanie, this is the thing. I'm going to say this very carefully, and I'm going to do it on a show this week, probably when Tom and Logan come up here to the Bay. Ordering too many tests isn't simply just sloppy shit. It isn't simply expensive. It's fucking murderous. They should teach medical students in medical school that less is more. That when you order unnecessary tests, what you are doing is murdering patients. You are committing involuntary manslaughter. Because when you go down that route, and you know, Yoda said it best, he went, "First down the path to the dark side do you travel, forever, where they dominate your destiny." By the way, I'm a little triggered. The Rise of Skywalker was such a steaming fucking piece of shit, you guys. It was so terrible. I was like, this is how you're going to wrap up 9 movies? God help us all. Oh, it could have been so much better. Oh, well. Yeah, that's a side note. Douglas Lightsey, welcome to SuperPac for life. Thank you for supporting the show at $9.99 a month. It means so much to us. It allows us to do all this shit without commercial bullshit and without me panicking about how I'm going to bring you guys content without going broke. Thank you. And supporting my team. We have a decent sized team, and basically we're supporting them to be able to help us do what we're all passionate about, which is bringing about Health 3.0. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it, and welcome. Tony Frankie, Vader must raise his own rebellion, and how. There's going to be some more Vader coming this week, by the way. Stay tuned. Melissa Big Mac, I disagree. It was great until the last 15 minutes. Then it was a pile of shit. So, Melissa, it's cool to disagree. Reasonable authorities will disagree on the Rise of Skywalker. I'll be honest with you. I sat in. It started out for the first hour. I was completely bored out of my mind. It was like they were just checking all the boxes. It was funny. The actual very end of it, no spoilers, I was like, okay, all right. At least it explains the title, whatever. But the rest of it was just god awful. I did not enjoy myself almost at all. I did like the interplay between Kylo Ren and Rey, though. I did. So some people hate that. I actually thought that was well done. The rest of it was a steaming stack of shit. All right. Ashley Stewart, who's a supporter for a while now. She has a yellow badge, which means at least a month or two, I think. I forget what that yellow badge means. I'm still waiting to see the new Star Wars movie, as my town doesn't have a theater anymore. Jeez, Ashley, what the health, man? No theater? Where are you living, in the Dust Bowl, girl? Helena sent $1.99. So much of what you say is true for veterinarians. Okay, Helena. I feel like veterinarians are so they're so deeply entwined with human physicians that we are really the same thing. What you have to do on a daily basis is the same, if not sometimes more painful and more difficult, because you're dealing with owners, you're dealing with convenience euthanasia. Oh my God. You're dealing with horrible suffering of innocent, innocent meaning they don't make decisions. They're not, they're not sitting here going, I'm going to smoke and do all this shit, right? They're just fucking a cute little dog or a cute little cat or a pot-bellied pig that's suffering. And you got to deal with the financial impact to your the owners of these animals. And it's really hard. Very high rates of suicide, very high rates of depression. And this is something many people don't realize. The vast majority of veterinarians are female. So there's an interesting gender dynamic there, as opposed to physicians where it's, starting to reach parity after all these years, but it was mostly male. So it's really fascinating. Then you have everyone else who works in veterinary medicine, the techs and the nurses and all of that. So I have mad respect and love for everything you guys do. Stephanie Dyer just sent me $19.99 and says, thanks for being you. That is so awesome, Stephanie. I really appreciate that. I'm going to take it and blow it on hookers and blow, because that's what I do, but also on Kino lights, Blackmagic cameras, equipment to stream. We have a new studio that we're trying to build out. It's going to be expensive, so I really, really appreciate it. Richard Isley sent $1.99. Treat referrals and tests like the VA. So it's interesting. It's been a while since I practiced at the VA, but the VA at least has its ideas somewhat straight, although some might argue it's a kind of a draconian rationing they do. But in reality, it's like, well, no one's getting fee for service on that shit. So you try to do the right thing. Also, it's very hard to sue. So you don't have as much cover your ass medicine. So the argument then is, well, now you're not getting enough care. So there's a balance somewhere. There really is a balance somewhere. Plus, I'm not sure. So well, I'll save that discussion for another time because it's a little bit controversial, and I want to save my energy for the fight that's going to result when I say what I was going to say. Risa's here asking for powder for my head because I need it. I don't think it'll help. It's not oil. It's just a bald head with a lot of light. See? Shoop, shoop, shoop. Maybe a little powder would help. Ladies know. I don't know. I don't know, ladies. You tell me. Is powder going to help? By the way, Risa, look what I'm wearing. Your supporter hoodie, which I love. Health 3.0 loading. It's a great hoodie. I wish it was already loaded. By the way, do you guys like this camera? So I've shoved the camera closer because I want to be a little more intimate with you guys. Tell me if it's too creepy. Maybe I should push it back. But for now, I kind of like it because I feel like I'm right in your face. You know what I mean? Keely, thanks for the $2.99. Tony Frankie says, no, Vader will use it on hookers and blow. Z-Dog will enhance his studio. That's true. Lord Vader, who's over there in the corner weeping, will use it on that. So Richard sent me a $1.99, says, I'm a veteran and a psych RN, by the way. Dude, thank you for your service on both counts. Seriously. Con Burbor, $4.99. How's it going? Thanks for the sticker and thanks for the money, Con Burbor. Shiny is beautiful, says Denise A., who's a supporter. What mic is that? Says Matt Skalski. Okay, so Matt, this mic is a Shure. Forget the name of it. It's a SH80 or something. It has the number 80 in it. It's just a standard vocal mic. It costs, I don't know, $100 or something. And it works pretty decent for this sort of thing. It's hard for me to set levels because I don't have a compressor on, so sometimes the levels are too loud, and sometimes they're not loud enough. So without Logan here being a human compressor, sometimes the audio can be a little ganky. So let me know. Sandra likes to shine. Bradlin Topes, who's also a supporter, says, I hate the Dallas VA system. My PCM is indifferent. His indifference almost killed me last month. I'm sorry to hear that, Bradlin. There's a wide variety of aptitudes at the VA. It does become a little bit difficult. But then I've seen amazing care at the VA, so it really depends. Erica Black, I'm in massive amount of pain tonight. I'm sorry, Erica. I hope you feel better. Nobody likes to hear that, and we're all thinking about you. Gisette Williams, supporter for life. She is actually Wakanda Forever, which is the highest tier you can support here. And I did a little video for her kitty kid. But appreciate your support. What are you doing? Oh, grab the cat. My kids are causing drama. I am live.
Oh, can you get whole milk?
No. Why? Why do you need whole milk?
For ice cream?
When?
No, we don't care. Sometimes.
All right, I will. Hey, can you guys get out of here? You're killing me here.
I'm trying. The cat opens it.
This is my life, people. This is why I have my garage getaway, but they can break right in. All right, thanks. Now get out! Hey. That's really distracting. Thank you. My children. The Z-Pups, says Tony Frankie. Erica Black says, chronic pain and I won't take anything stronger than Tylenol. And don't you dare take anything stronger than Tylenol, Erica Black. If you haven't, there are also non-pharmacologic ways to deal with chronic pain, which we're going to talk about in other shows, and we did with Amy Baxter as well. Daniel Sauerborn, how you doing, dog? This is getting me back into my Vegas mindset. But by the way, Daniel, I love how you called out those two large radiology groups in Las Vegas as being complete shitheads. It's brilliant. I love it. You didn't say that, but I'm going to say that. The big radiology groups in Las Vegas are volume mills. So you're seeing a ton of volume, which means quality is going to suffer, at least from people that I've talked to who've worked in those big volume mills. It's very, very tough. What up, Daniel? Let's see. David Knowles says, haha. Keely Boosing says, how do I become a supporter, please? Sorry for the newbie question. No, I like this kind of question, Keely. So if you go to my channel on YouTube, there's a button there that says join. You can join that way, or you can do it on Facebook. Go to my Facebook page, and there's a button there that says become a supporter. You can also support us on Patreon, patreon.com/ZDogMD, 2 G's, because one is necessary but not sufficient to be a thug. Let's see. So Master of Puppets is here. What up? What up, Master of Puppets? Master of Puppets, I'm pulling your strings. Hi, do you practice in the Bay Area? Neville Mehta. No, Neville, I go back to Las Vegas to our county hospital where I still have privileges because I would rather not have to go through the process of getting staff privileges at Stanford or something like that. It's a pain in the ass. And then they're actually going to make me work really hard and I won't have time to do videos. Whereas at UNLV, they let me see patients in a very flexible schedule with the residents and get to do teaching and mentoring and that kind of thing. It's much, much, much better. Let's see. Brandolin, actually, Stephanie says, OMG, yes, they are. Although one Greek raids guy was super handsome and I had a thing for him in med school. Stephanie is the best, man. Brandolin Topes. I wish Dallas would get their stuff together. Necrotic tissue in my stomach, emergency surgery, lost 90% of my stomach, and a foot of small intestine. According to the VA, it was just acid reflux. Again, I can't comment on medical problems because I wasn't there and I don't know what was going on. But I say I'm sorry you're suffering. That really sucks. Let's see. Emily Miller, loved your wine episode. I use Untapped for beer. Oh, the app Untapped. Very nice, Emily Miller. Untapped. We're going to do more wine shows, but I think we're going to do it with a guest. So we're going to have a guest. We're going to open a really nice bottle of wine, talk about the wine, talk a little about wine theory, and then launch into the show, progressively get more drunk, and then be able to actually have the real conversation. Because I think a lot of my guests clam up. It's really nerve-wracking being on this show for people who don't do it every day. For me, I'm like, fuck yeah, you want me to get naked? I'll get naked. But for guests, they're like, this is scary. There's a camera. There's a bald man. It's live. People shit their pants, you guys. Like, it's some scary shit. More wine, says Brandolin. All right, you got it. When will your studio be ready, Risa? So that's a complicated question that has many moving parts. The answer is I hope by the end of February, early March. If not, we'll be in this garage. So either way, we'll have something. Oh, and we're renting a place with your supporter money in San Mateo when the boys come up. So we're going to try a rental studio, see if that helps. These places are expensive. Some of them are $5,000 a day. We happened to find a place that was super cheap. Oh, I'm trying to get in YouTube's pants so that I can use their studio, because I think if you have a threshold number of subscribers, I think they have a studio in San Bruno. Someone confirm or disconfirm that. Maybe I can go up there and shoot some stuff up there. Gisette says, I love wine, but I must say Franzia is awesome. Adult juice box. So Gisette, interesting safety tip here. Box wine, actually a box, is the perfect storage vessel for wine. And the reason is as the wine, it has an internal bladder, whereas the wine is excreted, it actually it excludes air from the wine. So the wine actually is stored much more efficiently. So box wine is actually a perfect way to store wine, unlike a cork, which allows air in, which is good for aging wine, but it can cause all kinds of problems. Complications like, cork taint, which is a kind of a mold that imparts a horrible taste to the wine. Humans are extremely sensitive at detecting the compounds that cause cork taint, and so it just destroys the taste of the wine. Carrie Howison, what up? Black Box has the juice boxes too, and it's so good. I feel you. Risa says, summary, wine drinking, getting naked, getting in YouTube's pants. That's the summary. That's the assessment and plan. That's what I bill for. Let's see. Stephanie, I can ask my better half. He knows all the studio folks in Northern Cal. Stephanie, do you mind doing that for me and emailing me? Because you have my email. We are looking for it, but it'd have to be on the peninsula somewhere, because I can't go up to San Francisco. I don't want to go all the way across the bay to Berkeley or anything like that. So if you can find a place on the Silicon Valley side, like San Jose up through Burlingame, that would be awesome. And then let me know. Oh, now we got just supporters are mobbing this place. And then we got Ms. Goody Two Shoes. Tony Frankie, I used to go down to Trappist, Kentucky. So much bourbon. The bourbon fudge is so good. That sounds delicious. By the way, so I've been gaining a little weight since I moved back to the Bay Area because the food here is so fucking good. We go out to eat a lot. And even with one meal a day, I've noticed I've probably gained 5 pounds, which for me is a lot because I'm not a big fella. And it's all gut. So I'm going to experiment with a few different approaches. Number one, eating out less. Number two, time-restricted feeding. And number three, cutting out refined carbohydrates again, because for a while I had fallen off the wagon. And I will report back and let you know how that works with my genetic makeup. Again, there's no one-size-fits-all, but it'll be a fun little thing to see if Z-Dog can get back in his fighting weight and what lessons we might learn for other people. It's Rachel, it's totally a dad bod. It's totally, look, I'll show you. Let me show you. You can't really see, but I can pinch a little bit there, which normally I can't do. It's not good. Except no one cares. See, that's the other thing is like my wife doesn't care. So it's kind of like, well, I guess I'm just trying to be healthy then. I'm just self-motivated. Also, when I have to go and perform live on stage, I don't want to be a fat ass because then people will be like, I'm not going to trust this bald, fat piece of shit when he talks about creating behavior change. So it keeps me real. By the way, so I'm going to try to have Dean. So Dean Ornish has agreed to be on my show. Big, whole plant-based diet guy, really, really famous dude, and a super sweet guy. We've spoken at a conference together, got to know each other a bit, really respect each other. So it'll be fun to have him here. I'm waiting until I get the proper studio. It'll be fun to have him here and really dig in because, he does a lot of media and stuff. And the thing about Dean is he's actually an introvert. Like this stuff makes him nervous. And I think he goes back to like, this sort of stock talking points. What would be really fun is for me and Dean just to go deep on this shit. Like talk about, because he's big on meditation, on the mind-body connection, on diet as a treatment instead of medication. In fact, he was a pioneer in getting Medicare to cover dietary intervention for coronary artery disease, for reversing coronary artery disease, which is a huge deal. Caitlin Bossert, what's your workout routine? So that's a great question. I always forget to talk about exercise. I've been exercising less. So in the summer, I was biking a lot, and then I have both a Stairmaster and a treadmill right over there, and I use them back and forth. I think what's been happening is I get so busy that I rationalized it on. I need to work out today. I'll just eat one meal a day. But the problem is and weights. I have a weight bench and a bunch of weights. You got to do all of it. The weights allow bigger muscle mass that allow a bigger sink for insulin, less insulin resistance, and a higher basal burn rate of calories, as well as making you feel better. And then the aerobic stuff burns calories and it actually creates a mental state that's happier for me. So it helps me ward off things like depression and anxiety, because when I'm in that state, walking on a treadmill or on a Stairmaster, listening to a podcast or thinking about, being in a zone, it's kind of a meditative state. It's really, really important for me, but it's hard to find time in the day to do all these things. So you have to carve it out. You have to really make it a discipline. And that takes motivation. And when the motivation goes away, that's when you have trouble. So for me, I kind of, for a minute there, I got a little depressed. I was a little bit like, what am I doing? And I think I lost some of that motivation, but now it's back. And now I'm back in 2020 going, I gotta get this shit together. I go on these like ups and downs. They're not that bad, but it's enough that I notice it. And I'm like, I'm also public. So people kind of notice me noticing it. And so might as well make it a teachable moment, right? Emily Miller, do the Z-Pois. And then it got cut off. I guess you hit send before finishing the thought. Jonathan Sellers is here. The first wine show should be with him. Oh, that's a great idea, Jonathan. Actually, that's a great idea. Because drinking wine, because I assume that he drinks, because I think he's talked about the benefits of moderate alcohol. But I'll double check that. That would be fantastic, because he's a Marin guy, so he's close to Napa, so he knows his wine. So we could get a really good bottle of something and enjoy it. And you know what I think? I don't know if it was Melissa or someone had recommended in the supporter tribe that we tell everybody in advance what wine we're going to be drinking, so people can go out and buy it and drink it with us during the live show, because then they can enjoy the same experience and leave comments. Oh, I agree, the wine's amazing, or I agree, it tastes like pubes and vomit. That would be fun, right? Because it would really commit, especially if you don't make it a super expensive wine, like maybe a $20 bottle of wine, a $30 bottle of wine, something that's good but not like outrageous, right? Hassan Badran. What's up, my boy? It's Hassan and Sana. Listen to me carefully. Two bald men agree. Medicine is what you need to do. I'm telling you, don't even mess around. Okay, here we are. It's your boy, Hassan. Dude, that's awesome. All caps, brother. I like your style, Hassan. Yep, Ornish. Stephanie Dyer. That's who we're talking about. Yum Wine Rounds, Gisette Williams, we're in it. Ms. Goody Two Shoes, Z-Dog Drinking Game. That's right. Every time I say nuanced, you guys have to drink. We'll all be fucking hammered. Erica McElhatton. Erica. I've tried getting down to my original weight, but 7 pounds, 9 ounces just isn't realistic. Well played. I've not heard that joke before, actually, so that's good. Nathaniel Arumugam, $5. I have mad respect for veterinarians. MDs only have to worry about one animal. Vets have to know many others. Dude, tell me about it. Anytime I watch these veterinary medicine shows on like Animal Planet, I'm just like, shit, these guys have to work hard. You have to know a lot of stuff. It gives me panic attacks. Plus, they have to be able to do all these procedures. Take it from someone who doesn't like procedures that much. It's hard. That's why I did internal medicine. I'm like, I bet I could get away with no procedures. Let's see here. Denise says, it's hard to find what works best for taking care of ourselves. Super easy to become complacent until it catches up with us. Well, Denise, because there's no one right answer and there's no one right time in your life that's going to work all the time. So it's constantly changing. When I was in Vegas, I had one approach. When I'm here, it's got to be a different approach. Because what worked in Vegas, I was scrolling through my iPhotos today because I got a new laptop, because I had to hand the other one down to my kid because she needs a laptop for school. Actually, I handed my wife's down. My wife got my other one, which was pretty nice. And now I've got this new one. And I was looking through iPhoto, if that's what it's called, the Photos app on Apple, and at 20 years of photos, because we started taking pictures in 2000 with digital cameras. I did anyways. And I was looking back at I think the best shape I was ever in the last 20 years was my stint in Las Vegas, because I was doing intermittent fasting, keto, no refined carbohydrates, and looking back at those pictures going, damn, man, I was ripped, and getting a little sad. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to have a dad bod, at least I want it to be the best dad bod I can have. Dellinger Vineyards is amazing, says Richard, who sent $1.99. I'll try it out. I have not tried it. Hey, doctor, hope you're well. Dave F. I hope you're well too, Dave F. Master of Puppets. Matt Carricker from Demolition Ranch, off the ranch, is a veterinarian as well. Has the Vet Ranch channel. You'd love it if you watch. I'm sure of it. I will try to check it out. I don't have cable, so I'd have to find it. It's through some other means. The best shape of my life was Army boot camp when I was 17. Erica Black. I was in better shape in my 40s actually than I was even as a teen, because I discovered that me and refined carbohydrates don't get along genetically. And after discovering that, because, in the 80s, when I was a teenager, it was all the rage to be like, eat all the carbs you want, but avoid fat. So I would avoid fat, and I got fat because my Middle Eastern genetics did not like the sort of processed food and refined carbohydrates and low quality proteins and things I was eating. But eating a whole food diet, even if it has like whole grains and carbohydrates in it, does agree with me, especially if I combine it with time-restricted feeding, like eating one meal a day, that sort of thing, or occasional 5-2 intermittent fasting, things like that. Works well for me. The dad bod, Tiger Lily, that's right. You always go live during football. You're killing me. Go Packers, Karen Voigt. I know, I'm sorry. I don't do sports, so I never know when that shit's going on, and I don't have TV beyond Netflix, so I never know when that shit's going on. I apologize to everyone who loves sports, like Tom Heineber. Rachel J, eating chocolate chip banana bread while watching. God bless you, Rachel J. You're making me so hungry. I haven't had my meal of the day yet, and it's already 4:09 Pacific. So this is one motherfucker who's hungry as fuck. Mrs. Dog is cooking some butter chicken in the Instapot, so that's going to be off the hook. By the way, I was watching these old SNL clips. They're not that old, like a couple years old, and it had Lin-Manuel Miranda was on one, and it was a skit where he's a high school substitute teacher, and he comes in to teach an English class in some inner city class, and he's like all dressed all hip, and he's like he comes in and he's like, "What up, fam?" And he's like this, non-black guy, and all the black kids in the room are just like, "Oh God." And I realized I do that. I do it ironically, but I sometimes think people don't think it's ironic. I'm like, "What's up, fam?" I'm doing it because I'm like, dude, that's like a phrase from like the 90s that white guys say. But yeah, it hit a little close to home. I'm like, teaching with hip hop. That was one of the things they made fun of him for. Caitlin Bossert, do you cook? If so, what do you like to cook? So I used to cook a lot more, but Mrs. Dog got so good at it, despite being a Stanford radiologist, she still will do the cooking sometimes. And then Victoria helps us with cooking. She's my assistant. And then so my way of cooking now is I order DoorDash Mexican food or pizza. It's terrible. I'm a horrible human being. But when I did like to cook, I used to really like cooking tofu dishes. For some reason, I like tofu. I also was good at stir fries, so any kind of meat stir fry. I'm good at making steaks and chicken. Grilled chicken I'm quite good at. What else can I cook? That's really it. Otherwise, I suck. You guys have seen me grilling in Las Vegas on live shows. I would go outside and grill. When we get a grill out here, we'll do it in the summer. I'm thinking of getting one of those wood pellet grills, that are electric. You put the wood pellets in, and it's a combination of heat and smoke, which is awesome. I'm looking forward to doing that shit live. Melissa loves tofu and meat. So do I. I'm toying around with the idea of trying a plant-based whole food diet, but I can't do vegan because that shit's just crazy. But I am toying around with it. We'll have to see if I can pull that off. I have a feeling I'll get fat though, because I'll eat so much, and it'll be heavy in the carbs, but you never know. Tony Frankie, arthritis sucks. I know, I've got it everywhere. Helps most to keep active. If I'm a potato, I pay for it. This is the thing. One of the biggest issues with chronic pain and chronic, arthritis and things like that is people stop becoming active because it hurts. But the treatment for a lot of this stuff to make you feel better is increasing activity. And so I think it's very important for people to realize that and understand that part of the motivation of getting up and about is that it will make you feel better in the long run, even though it may hurt a little bit in the short run for many people. I I usually go just propane for grilling, Jonathan Sellers. So that's what I normally do. But I had a friend who had this smoker with the wood pellets, and it was really fucking awesome. It's a Traeger. That was the brand, and it was so delicious. He made these burgers; they were so fucking good. I was like, I want this. Let's see. Wow, it's all supporters leaving comments now, except for Jonathan. Jonathan's young and should not be spending his money supporting the show. Teresa Gaskin, shouldn't we clean the gut? Okay, so Teresa Gaskin, this is the thing. This idea of cleanses and detoxing and all that, it's 100% bullshit usually. Now, when you say clean the gut, like you can do a colonoscopy, you can see what's in there. It's just not much, guys. Like the truth is there's stool and there's poo and there's food and there's fiber. The carnivore people will say, well, you don't even need fiber to have regular bowel movements. Once you adapt to no fiber, actually you have pretty smooth BMs. And then a high fiber diet, you can have very smooth BMs. When I was young, because I was an idiot and I listened to what the conventional wisdom was saying about fiber, I used to supplement my diet with Metamucil. So even in my 20s, I go, dude, you take like a couple spoons of Metamucil at night, that orange stuff, right? With the artificial flavors and the artificial colors and the, phenylketonuric warning on it because it's got aspartame in it. Every night for like 7 years after dinner, I would fucking use that shit because you'd have the fucking perfect dump the next day, and it lowers LDL cholesterol, which people don't realize. The thing is, there's no data that it actually helps improve human outcomes, and there's some data that it actually is associated with increased number of colon polyps. Now, that may be because, there's a variety of confounders, but nobody really understands that, and it's artificial. It's not, psyllium husk is natural, but the colors and the flavoring they put in that shit is, and if you're using the sugared kind, then you're getting refined sugar, is not healthy. So we just, you go through life figuring this shit out, literally figuring the shit out. Like, how am I going to have the perfect dump? What do I got to eat to have but these detoxes and cleanses, they're all horseshit. Just don't do them. Really. Seriously. That's one piece of advice that I think I can safely hand out. Yeah, as Erica says, I have a liver and kidney for detox. Exactly. They're good at it. And a colon. I can't even do my PT without oxycodone. Well, Stephanie, if you have an injury or serious rheumatologic problems, then sometimes the pain medication can help you push through the PT, and so it's absolutely appropriate. But again, you gotta listen to your own doc and all that, and this and that and the other thing. No medical advice here. Guy that comments says polyps. I agree with you, guy that comments. I agree also that you are a guy that comments, and you're a regular, and I appreciate you. Emily Miller, have the cereal sandwich from the Breakfast Club. Don't you forget about me. Don't. We saw Pitch Perfect the other day, the first one, which I've seen before, but my kids had never seen it, and they thought it was the funniest thing they've ever seen, especially Fat Amy. She's so fucking funny. And they do that whole, Breakfast Club routine in that movie. I haven't seen the third one. I've seen the second one. The third one looks like abject dog shit, but what do I know? Let me know, fam. There I go with the fam again. Dark Legion says, all right, I'm going to get some Metamucil now. Thanks. I'll be very grateful to you if this works. Okay. See what it does to your LDL cholesterol and see what it does to your stools. Now, here's the trick. Don't use too much or too little. You've got to titrate it to just the perfect amount. If you use too much, you'll actually get constipated. And actually, old people, here's a little safety tip. So old people with Metamucil, the way Metamucil works is it's a non-absorbable bulk fiber. So psyllium husk comes from some plant. It doesn't get absorbed by the colon. Now, some bacteria break it down. So for some people, it can cause bloating and gas, which is why we'll recommend for them Citracel, which is a synthetic fiber that isn't broken down by bacteria. So you get less bloating for people who suffer from that. Now, the way it works is because it isn't absorbed, when you swallow it and it gets in the colon, it absorbs water itself. So it bulks up. It becomes very like a goo. And that goo provides mass and weight for your feces in the colon. So quicker transit time, it gets through faster. And the stretch of the colon, the way the colon works is you stretch it a little bit, and it triggers a squeeze. So it's a stimulant effect on the colon motility that allows, better bowel movements. It also, since it's absorbing water, there's more lubrication and all of that. Now, you can imagine the problem here. If you have the Metamucil without enough water, or you take too much, you can actually cause a blockage. It can dry out and form like concrete, or you don't get enough water in general, so you're dehydrated. Now you have an little old person. Someone told them to take a bunch of Metamucil. They take the powder, not much water because they're not drinking much water. They're a little dehydrated. Next thing you know, they're impacted. So the stool isn't even going through, and that's a big problem. That's why those sort of bulk laxatives for elders may not work as well as, say, something like Colace, which is like a detergent that helps both stimulate and lubricate in there, and then Senecot, which is a straight stimulant laxative. It causes kind of contraction of the colon and secretion of the juices. So this has been delightful dinner conversation. You're welcome. I think I just threw up a little and swallowed it. Master of Puppets, yay, peanut butter poop, TM. That's right, it's a trademark. Tiger Lily, yeah, leave it to sit for a while and you can't drink it. It's goo, that's right. If you mix it and you don't drink it right away. So the way I used to do it is I'd take the thing of water and I would just, you got to chug it, that Metamucil. Me and my friends used to call it the mucil, and I'd be like, homies, I'll be back. I got to mucilate. And that was my verb for drinking Metamucil, mucilating. Andrew Dunbar, $5. Thank you. Why don't surgeons bill by the hour like lawyers? Perhaps some manner of multiplier for difficulty. So time-based billing codes do exist. I'm not sure they exist for surgery. They do exist for time in the OR. So facilities billing can sometimes include time. But don't quote me on that because I'm not a surgeon. I'm not sure what the best billing approach is for surgeons. Some have argued that it's, diagnosis-based billing or, bundled payments. I mean, there's a million different ways to do it. I can't profess that I know the answer to that. And we would need a surgeon to tell me, okay, this is the best way to bill for my services. That is fair, is not going to break the bank, that compensates me for the time spent, that sort of thing. Okay, so let's see here. We got 100 people watching for some reason. Keely says they do exist for critical care surgery, trauma here. Okay, gotcha, Keely. Risa says I accidentally ate a Fiber One bar at work, although I thought it was a granola bar. Would not recommend. I've had those. They don't work. It's everybody's particular with their bowels. That's one thing I've learned. There's no one bowel fits all. Stephanie says, so doctor, you don't agree with the gastroenterologist theory of something akin to biofilm over the villi that will prevent absorption. The fiber and probiotics work in concert to remove intestinal biofilm. So I don't know that theory, Stephanie. So that doesn't mean that it's not true. I just don't know it. When you do go in with a scope, you do see this goo, but whether it's actually an occlusive biofilm or not is not clear. It's interesting, though. I'm willing to entertain these theories, but you'd have to follow them up with evidence. Nobody knows really how fiber works, especially for things like diverticulosis, these little outpouchings of the colon. Like, how does fiber potentially... So in cultures where there's a high fiber diet, they have much less diverticulosis. It's a phenomenon of Western culture. But is it a fiber thing or is it something else? We don't know. We just don't know. Just eat a bag of sugar-free Twizzlers, Kimberly Dietrich. So it's interesting. So the sugar-free aspect. So why does sugar-free stuff cause poopies? And the answer is non-absorbable sugar alcohols. So the way they sweeten these things a lot of times is with non-absorbable sugar alcohols like sorbitol, xylitol, those sort of things, which, by the way, xylitol is toxic to dogs. We had a guy on the show talking about his xylitol product as a sponsored show. It was interesting. So he gave us like boxes and boxes of chewing gum, Spry chewing gum, which is xylitol. He's the inventor of that shit. And so the boys and me were eating that shit on the daily because it was free and we would just chew gum all day. I was wondering why I was fucking sharding everywhere I went. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to drive home. Oh, shit, I shit my pants. Why is that? Too much xylitol. So overdosing on unabsorbed sugar alcohol causes fluid to accumulate in the bowel, and you get diarrhea. So if you want to shit yourself, and it's the same with, say, you're lactose intolerant. Lactose then becomes an unabsorbed sugar alcohol that's broken down by bacteria, causes a lot of bloating and gas, and diarrhea from the osmotic effect of the unabsorbed sugar, not a sugar alcohol in the case of lactose. So people who are lactose intolerant can titrate. Sometimes if they're constipated, can drink a little milk or cheese or ice cream and can have decent bowel movements. I keep it real, people. I don't give a fuck. Olestra, exactly, Tony Frankie. Olestra was a non-absorbed fat substitute. And people will get what they call anal leakage, which you're just like, oh, I feel a little, oh shit, I shit my pants. They should have called it Oshartra, because you're just going to shart all day long. Andrew Dunbar, read the reviews of sugar-free gummy bears on Amazon. Oh shit, I can't wait. I cannot wait, Andrew. I imagine it's just Shart Central. Unbelievable. So guys, do me a favor. How do you like this little format? Is this fun for you guys? It's fun for me. Do you like the camera where it is, or should I move it back? Leave some comments right now, because I need proper feedback, because I'm going to go in and help with the dinner now in a second here. What's my favorite movie? Tim Evans? Well, at the top up there is The Matrix. Love The Matrix. The Big Lebowski is one of my favorite movies. I like Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, for some reason. Really struck my fancy. Love that movie. And it actually holds up pretty good, surprisingly. Let me think. Other movies that I really love. You know, I actually, controversial, but like that Memento, Inception, those sort of movies I really love because they force you to pay attention and think, and they're well done. Good topic. Stick with poop. Eunice Tart. Well, with a name like Tart, so close to fart, of course we like the poop. I'm kidding. Thanks for being here. Justin Lloyd, who's a supporter, says Kazam. Isn't Kazam the thing where, no, that's Shazam. What is Kazam? Remind me what Kazam is. Star Trek, someone's throwing up. Jonathan Sellers. Oh, come on, Jonathan. You're too young to hate Star Trek. Does cocaine work for hemorrhoids? Probably as local injection. I don't know. I've not seen it used in the hemorrhoidal sense. It's usually used in the nose by ENT people to stop bleeding because it's a vasoconstrictor. Sarah Chalk likes these shows. That's good. Thanks for having me, Eunice Tart. You're welcome, Eunice. Dark Legion says there's a movie called Human Centipede. Oh, God. I saw the South Park version of that. Inception was amazing, says Ashley Stewart. I thought that movie was so cool. Yeah, some people really hate it. I actually really love that movie. I really do. My kids loved it too. They were like, what? And they're 8 and 11 when they saw it, and they were just like, that movie is amazing. I'm like, you kids are smart. I would have been like, huh? And I'd have all these like conversations with my oldest daughter about like, well, what do you think is happening at the end there? What, is he still dreaming? What's going on? Look at that. What's up with that? What's up with that? You see that? You see the foreshadowing there? You see what's going on there? So do watch Denis Villeneuve's Prisoners. It's really good. I will try. Scrubs the Musical, Emily Miller. Lucas Varga, South Park, Cuttlefish. Oh my God. Stephanie Dyer, super fun. Love the kind of interaction, especially with Rosa Doobie-Doo. That's right. I don't do cocaine. I just like the smell. Master of Puppets. Let's see. Oh, has anyone seen, or is it out yet? The movie by Taika Waititi about Hitler, like imaginary Hitler. It's called, it's something bunny. Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit. Has anyone seen that? Because it looks really good. I love Taika Waititi, man. Like ever since What We Do in the Shadows and Thor Ragnarok, like I think that motherfucker has a fucking gift. He's amazing. Jojo Rabbit, Andrew. Everything about fucking Taika and the New Zealanders I fucking love. Flight of the Conchords, come on, dude. It's a fucking gold standard of comedy. Tim Evans, Jojo Rabbit, that's right. It's as weird as it sounds, Andrew Dunbar. So Andrew's seen it. Fill me in. Fill me in. Lost in Translation and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So Lost in Translation is one of my favorite movies too, Natalie. I have not seen Eternal Sunshine. Hi, Master Eunice Tart. Eunice is weird. I like Eunice. I like you, Eunice. You're weird. JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, though. Yeah, I can't wait, Jonathan. I can't wait. All right, I gotta go. I love you guys. Thanks for the support on YouTube. I love being on both YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So we do live shows on Instagram because Facebook and YouTube don't allow you to go split screen with your fans, whereas Instagram Live does. So make sure to follow us on Instagram because when I go live, you can request to be patched in. And I've been doing it lately. It works really, 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 really fucking well. Great conversations with fans about all the things, medical and not medical. So I'm going to do more of that on Instagram. If I can make it happen on YouTube and Facebook, I would. But I hit up Facebook and they told me directly, you can't do it. We deprecated that feature is what they told me, meaning they fucking shit canned it. It never worked great on Facebook when they had it because you'd get all this echo unless someone had earpods in. And so it was hard to do. So they can fix that problem because Instagram's fixed that. It's not a problem on Instagram. They reject echo pretty well. All right. Thank you, Dark Legion. I'll have a nice dinner, Risa. Peace out to you, Jonathan Sellers. Erica, I think you're onto something. I don't know what Erica's onto, but I'm onto it too. Oh, all my favorite movies have car chases or explosions. I'm with you. The Matrix 2. That movie sucks. Explosions, though. All right. Great questions. I got to go. I love you guys. Until next time. Now I got to walk over here, do the walk of shame with my dad bod. All right, guys. I love you. We out. How do I end it? Let's see. There's a button here that does something. Go to the live control room. Let's see what that does. Dum 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 dum. That doesn't work. How do I make? Oh, did I stop it? I can't even tell. I'll do it over.